Hey guys, this is Goku, and on this channel we talk about poker and we play different GTO solutions, trying to perfect our game, trying to practice specific spots. And lately we've been playing on the GTO Wizard, and we've been doing the BB defense drill. We're improving our score, but I think there's a huge amount of improvement that I can make here, so I'm gonna continue here with that for a few more sessions, and then we're gonna try and select a different spot or a different drill, and let's jump right into it. Ace-10 suited on the big blind versus a button limp. Do we raise it to 3? Do we raise it to 4.5, or do we maybe shovel in? I think I would mostly use this one. Yeah, silver is doing that 77% of the time. We get called by the button, and on king 6-5 we should continue for a quarter. I think the button calls. We pick up some additional equity on the turn with the 4 of hearts, and it could go a few different ways here, but I think mostly it should be a check, and the solver agrees. The button check behind. We have a king of hearts on the river, and how do we extract the most value here? Because the stacks are shallow. Is this a spot where maybe we bet 10% pot or a third pot? Or maybe we check here. I think we gotta bet, but how much? I think I'm gonna go with this sizing. We get shoved on and we call, and the villain had jacks, but if we take a look here on the flop, solver likes checking 66% of the time, and if it bets the quarter pot bet like we did, so that's all fine. And then on the turn we checked, and if the solver bets on the turn, it likes betting a quarter again, or this 10% bet 6.7% of the time. And on the river it is also it also likes betting. It also likes shoving all in 40% of the time, or betting a third pot like we did 47%, or betting 2/3. Okay, let's go to the next one. King 6 suited on the big blind versus hijack open. We call with this hand. We see the solver is also doing some raising, so it seems, and we check it on 100% of the time. And I think here we mostly call with this particular hand, and the solver agrees. Do we ever lead here on the turn? I don't think so. The solver agrees, and the hijack overbets now, but 16 BBs to a pot of 13. What do we do now? I think we call still. Oh, looks like the solver is doing a lot of folding. And we're gonna check on this river and call the all-in, and we're behind, but let's see. Yeah, pre-flop it's 43 versus 57, calling or 3 betting. Okay, that's pre-flop. Then on the flop is 100% check and 100% call nearly, so that's all fine. And on the turn we see it's actually a check call or check fold. 2/3 of the time check fold and 1/3 is a check call, so that's also fine. And then on the river we see the solver likes betting 10% pot 82% of the time and then checking the other 18, and then if it checks it calls. So okay, 5 deuce off, we're gonna fold. 7-4 off, we're gonna fold. Versus button open, ace-8, we're gonna call, offsuited. We see solver likes 3-betting with ace-8. We check it on the queen 9-3 flop and we fold it. And pre-flop, yeah, it's nearly 50-50. I'm definitely not 3-betting a high enough percentage of these types of hands. Ace-8 off. And perhaps I should. Ace-3 off on the big blind versus UTG1 open. Guess we call this, right? Yeah. You check on the flop. And I think we fold it. And if we take a look at the action, yeah, one third of the time the solver folds this hand, and on the flop it's actually doing quite a bit actions here. It is folding 37% of the time, but it is also sometimes calling, sometimes raising, and even raising pot nearly 30% of the time with this hand. And this actually makes sense. Raising pot here. Ace-3 off is a fold versus cutoff all in on 15 bigs or 14 bigs. 8-7 off is a call versus low jack open. We hit a gut shot, I'm gonna check and sometimes raise it here, I think. Let's do it this time. Let's raise pot. And the solver folds. If we take a look on the action here, right here, action here on the flop, we see that solver likes leading with this particular hand a third of the time on such a wet board, and then well, yeah, it checks 45% of the time, and here mostly it's calling 87% of the time, and if it's raising pot. Okay. Jack-8 off, I think is a call versus hijack open. On king queen 5 we're gonna check fold this hand. 9-8 suited has got to be a call even on 13 big blinds. We hit an 8 on a king 8-6 with 2 spades, and we're gonna call it. Ace on the turn, we're gonna check. Dylan bets 20% pot bet. What do we do with our 9-8? I think we folded, right? Or do we still call one bet here? I think we fold. Yeah. Solver agrees. And let's move on to the next one. Pocket kings versus low jack open is always a 3-bet. And 10-10, and on a 10-10-8 board with 2 spades, we're gonna bet a quarter pot. Get called. 3 of spades on the turn. I think we're just shoving it here, aren't we? Or should we bet? a third pot. Maybe check it. Let's check it and show it. Okay, so on the flop here we see the solver also likes betting half pot here with our particular hand, and on the turn it is mostly doing the third pot bet 78% of the time, and then 20% of the time it's checking, and 2% is doing 10% bet. And here versus 10% bet is doing all in 40% of the time, and a call 60% of the time. Makes sense. 10-3, we're gonna check versus the limp. Maybe bet small. Nope, solver doesn't like betting small here. We caught another 10 on the turn, and we're gonna continue betting small here. We got called, we hit a full house on the river, and once again we're gonna bet small here. If we take a look at the action on the flop, yeah, the solver doesn't like leading here, it prefers checking. Makes sense. And this will be our last hand. With king 10 we're gonna call, and on ace 5-3 we're gonna check, fold it. Sorry, actually 2 more hands to make it to 15. Queen deuce is a fold, and then jack 4 is a check versus the limp, and is a check fold on this board. Pretty straightforward. Let's end the session. Oh, I closed it too quickly, but thank you very much for watching, guys. If you enjoyed watching this video, please leave a comment below, subscribe to this channel to watch more videos like this in the future, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.